NBC legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Glenn Kirshner. So, Glenn, what are the legal risks for Rudy Giuliani here?
Yeah, Katie, it's pretty alarming what the New York Times was reporting because, on the one hand, you have Rudy Giuliani, who is serving as the president's lawyer. And then we learn that he's also trying to potentially negotiate business deals to enrich himself with who? With somebody that is, one, reportedly a corrupt Ukrainian prosecutor, and two, somebody that Rudy Giuliani would be interacting with and interviewing under the theory that he has potential evidence that could assist his client, the president of the United States. I mean, this is really double dealing at its worst. And then when you add into the mix that Rudy Giuliani apparently was also working as part of this sort of personal political errand, this back channel fake diplomat that Dr. Fiona Hill testified was his role, it looks like he's going into triple dealing territory. And, it's such a tangled web at this point. But what I can tell you is that it looks like Rudy Giuliani, at a minimum, is violating legal, ethical rules in the way he is dealing on behalf of his client. Of course, he also famously said recently that if Trump tries to throw him under the bus, he has an insurance policy. It's not often that you hear lawyers give their clients ultimatums on national television.
You don't hear Rudy Giuliani, many lawyers say any of the things that Rudy Giuliani says. But when you're talking about throwing under the bus, the president distanced himself, at the very least, the most has started to throw Giuliani under the bus by saying that, he wasn't really working for him when he was in Ukraine. Why is the president distancing himself? Is it because politically speaking, Rudy Giuliani is becoming more toxic suddenly now? Or is there a legal element here?
Yeah, the legal element may be that the president is realizing that all of his bluff and bluster and all of his attacks on the process are not working. And because he has no defense on the merits, it may very well be that at some point, Katie, he's going to have to say, you know what, Rudy Giuliani was apparently doing wrong in Ukraine. He may claim he was doing it for me, but I didn't know anything about that part. So if somebody has to be held accountable, if somebody has to take the fall, it's got to be Rudy Giuliani and not me. You can almost see that defense forming in some of what we heard from President Trump recently.
Let me ask you another question. On the subject of former national security official Charles Kupperman, he's suing to find out whether he needs to appear before the House impeachment inquiry, or whether he needs to abide by the ban on doing that from the White House. He's added the sergeant at arms to his lawsuit. This comes after you tweeted that you believe Democrats should refer people who don't show up for testimony to the sergeant at arms to be jailed. Why would you add the sergeant at arms to your lawsuit?
Because if you have a sense that things are not going your way in the litigation over the enforceability of the congressional subpoena, you might as well add to your lawsuit the person who might be looking to lock you up and hold you accountable for that.
Do you think he's really concerned about that, or is he just being safe?
I think both. I think he's being safe, and I think with the opinion that was just handed down by Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, saying there is absolutely no such thing as absolute immunity, so people have to comply with these subpoenas, and if they don't have a legal basis to refuse to comply. I mean, that sent a powerful signal, and hopefully Congress will pick up on that and will begin issuing subpoenas and using that as a basis to enforce them with their inherent contempt power. And Katie, in that opinion from Judge Jackson, she sets out just how the inherent contempt power works and how it is a lawful vehicle for Congress to force people to comply with their subpoenas.
Glenn Kirshner. Glenn, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
You too, Katie.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, You don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press Mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.